I talked to Ryan Biddulph, and he's a blogger who's famous for traveling to the most beautiful and adventurous places around the world through his blog called Blogging from Paradise. Here's Ryan.
I didn't know what a blog was. I didn't know what SEO was. I didn't know anything about the online world. So if I could be where I'm at now, then literally anybody can do it.
So Ryan says that anyone can do it, and that is why I reached out to him with a list of questions. So I asked Ryan about blogging, I asked him about the best strategies, and I asked him to give me a 1-hour daily routine that would guarantee my success. I've recorded his answers and they're all in this video. Let's get started. So my first question was, what is the truth about the blogger lifestyle?
Enjoy a life of freedom and travel and just relaxation. But then also, like you said, it's not just all about, like you said, with the Lamborghinis and sitting on the beach and the infinity pools with the coconut shaker. Yeah, I post those pictures. I know you've seen those, selfies from Bali and Fiji. But then I'm always saying it's fun, play, and then it's also work. Like you really are going to be behind the laptop screen and looking at your phone, and it's work. And I think a lot of bloggers, they don't want to say that because they're afraid that will scare people off.
No surprise there, it takes work. However, why blogging?
Blogging is more of a one-stop shopping experience for people, readers, potential customers and clients who can consume videos, podcasts, articles, infographics. You can monetize it, limitlessly, essentially. And also you get to build a one-of-a-kind brand, because when you have that self-hosted blog, you can set it up and design it and brand it however you want with no restrictions. There's no other online income channel or platform where you could do that.
We can post whatever we want on our blog, and we can sell whatever we want on our blog. Next question then, what are the steps to become a blogger, make money, and be free?
Ultimately, it's simple in that there are a number of moving parts, but it's just creating helpful content, building relationships with your readers and fellow bloggers in your niche or in similar niches, and then monetizing through different income streams.
There has to be something more to it.
But the only thing I would say is that it's uncomfortable for most of us because we're trained and conditioned to think like employees, like here, do this stuff, get money every Thursday. And blogging is being an entrepreneur, which is, as you know, and as I know, and as anybody who's done this knows, it's very, very different. You work on the front end to build up the credibility, the skills, the expertise, the exposure, and then the money slowly but steadily and surely comes on the back end. And you gotta be really, really patient.
Now let's dig deep. Let's ask Ryan the difficult questions. For example, what should our blog be about?
It's important to choose a niche and to become a specialist, because in the offline world, we really trust specialists, doctors who are doctors with all their pro attention energy, lawyers who are lawyers, it goes across the board. In the online world, it's similar. So you want to stick to one niche.
I like the comparison to the offline world, where specialists are oftentimes the best paid people. But what do we write about? And how do we create content that's actually good?
Problem solving is really a biggie. And since you don't have any readers in the beginning, which is fine, we all start at zero. Say, for example, you're a blogging tips blogger, you'd stop by problogger.net. Darren Rouse runs one of the top blogs in the world, if not the top blog in the world for blogging tips. So you'd read like the last 5 posts or 10 posts, and you'll spot problems that he addresses through those topics. You're not going to copy the same title or to copy the blog post, that's plagiarism, but you're going to choose similar topics and solve similar problems.
If you're like me, this feels a little like cheating. And also, why would anyone want to read my stuff when there are already big blogs writing about it? These are 2 mental blocks that every new blogger struggles with. And now listen to what Ryan says about that.
Now you're a new blogger, so there's going to be the mental block of, well, why would anybody trust me? I feel like a fraud. I don't even have any visitors yet. But there's one concept that I've learned over the years from so many high-level bloggers: to learn, teach. And when you understand that that's the real foundation, imposter syndrome goes out the door, fraud syndrome goes out the door, I'm a fraud, and you realize that the only way you're really going to learn this stuff as you study it is to teach it. You're not going to get confident in this area as a blogger. You're not going to gain blogging confidence until you start teaching and writing and publishing posts. So follow the top blogs in your niche. Then as you gain readers over time, sticking to the fundamentals, then they'll bring their problems to you and you'll write posts to solve those problems.
This right here was the part of the interview where I believe it will virtually guarantee your blogging success. Teach what you're learning and you'll have infinite content. This is exactly what Ryan was doing. And now listen to the next story.
There was a keyword where I outranked an $11 billion company twice on page 1.
On Google, Ryan's blog was ranked higher than an $11 billion company.
It's me and my friend network, and they have like 30,000 employees and, you know, billions of market cap. So it's like, where in the world can that happen? But through blogging, it's so rare, and a blog can give you that authority.
Wow. So that covers step number 1, creating content. But what about step number 2, networking and making friends? When we start out, nobody knows us and we don't know anyone. So what should we do?
The quickest way for a new blogger to gain interest is to give interest. So express interest. It's a mirror effect. It's beautiful how it works. Express interest in other bloggers, and I've got the word genuine. Follow blogs in your niche, and to publish genuine comments. To share a couple minutes of your time to publish a comment, so you're expressing genuine interest in other bloggers, and a percentage of these bloggers, and the number will increase as you stick with it, will become very interested in your blog, and then that's how you begin to build your tribe and to network. Now, I would also suggest tweeting the post, maybe sharing it on Facebook. That's how you move up in circles. And when you're detached and you're calm, cool, and collected, that shows that you're really interested in a person and not in what they could do for you. Those are two different things.
This is one of my favorite quotes from Ryan. Be interested in a person and not in what they can do for you. Okay, so here's what Ryan said. Follow others' blogs, write great comments under their blog posts, and share their posts on your social media accounts. Now let's talk about step number 3, monetization. How do we get paid for all our free content and hard work?
I would say right off the bat, you can consider affiliate marketing because it's pretty straightforward and easy. After you start with affiliate marketing as a newbie, then you have writing and self-publishing ebooks is pretty straightforward. You can create courses, you can coach, you can freelance.
There are so many different income streams, and Ryan really likes selling short, straight to the point ebooks.
But really though, with the way I approach ebooks, I view them as being like short and sweet guides, 6,000 to 15,000 words, nothing super in depth. So even writing and self-publishing an ebook as a newbie, if you're really publishing a content, you could probably publishing content regularly and you become a clear, confident writer. You could write a 5,000 word ebook in a number, in a month or a couple months, it's bite-sized pieces.
But how do we get people to buy it from our blog?
It's difficult to understand this. The ego does not want to accept this idea, but it's odd, but the money is all in the free content and the friendships, because the monetizing channels, setting them up is usually not terribly difficult. And as far as the content you put into them, the more you learn and become like an intermediate level blogger, you'll have the knowledge. And once you have the knowledge and you package it the right way through these income streams, when you have friends, influential bloggers who believe in you and spread your word through referral marketing and helpful content, people will trust you. And then when they trust you, they just buy your stuff.
Here's what Ryan said. The money is in the free content. And he also said that there are many unexpected ways to get paid for all our free content. Here's a really cool story of how Ryan made a bunch of money completely unexpected.
Somebody hired me to ghostwrite an SEO book that became like a bestseller on Amazon. I was stunned. He hired me and he's like, yeah, you should do freelance. I'm like, I can't do this. I never. And he's like, yeah, ghostwrite this book if you would. And I'm like, oh, I don't. He kind of had to walk me off the ledge, but it was based on my blog posts, my content, my free content. He loved my writing and he's like, ghostwrite an SEO ebook, and it became a bestseller SEO book, hardcover and ebook. And it goes to show you the power of helpful free content. Yeah, the income channels as a newbie blogger, guys, I know it's intimidating. Like you said, the light at the end of the tunnel, it really is the free content and the trust and the relationships. And then from there, they'll buy what you have to offer. They'll click your ads, they'll hire you. Just really focus on the free stuff.
Another thing I wanted to know from Ryan was, what should we do when we make a mistake?
If you're struggling, you're definitely not alone. And a lot of the most powerful people in the world, on a worldly level, who've built these iconic ventures, they'll tell you they really screwed up. You know, they really messed up and they really questioned themselves. And it happens with every single human being who hasn't mastered their mind. And
mistakes happen, and we have to accept them as part of blogging. But here is an interesting warning from Ryan.
Like, really tread lightly around traffic. I mean, any metrics, profits, conversions, any of these percentages. Now, you could use them as a guide mark. Most, no, it's not. There's heaviness, there's depression. I'm not doing good enough. That's great. Why didn't I do this? I did this yesterday. Why did everything drop today? And it's an ego trap. It's stick to the process.
So Ryan says metrics are an ego trap. But Ryan goes even further. He has never set up Google Analytics, which he calls GA. Listen to this.
Oh yeah, believe it or not, and I'm not making this up, I never set up GA for my blogs, never, because I knew it was going to be an addiction. Never set it, because I literally knew intuitively that it would be nothing but problems.
Here's the takeaway. Don't look at metrics, that's it.
I knew it was going to be a problem. I knew it was going to be, you know what it was going to be, Morris, it was going to be GA, Google addiction, or GAA, Google Analytics addiction. Because when I had some plugins that gave me metrics, I saw it happen. And the ego is just such a jerk. It screws everything up. It has to know outcomes and this and that. And other than that little check, and when you keep checking, we've all done it. We've all been there. And this is a real block. It's a real problem. Bloggers think outside in. They're like, this isn't enough. This number's not enough. This arbitrary number's not enough. And then they act. They focus on the process from a not enough energy. So they hold back with the blog posts, they hold back with the networking, because the ego, the mind says, I don't want to waste my time or energy because it's going to be a small number anyway. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that goes on until they quit. I just developed a deeper sense of trust in the process and in some bigger force or karma or whatever you want to call it, just kind of taking care of that stuff. And it just always does.
Now that we have all this knowledge, how do we put it into practice? That is why I asked Ryan to give us a 1-hour routine that we can do every single day.
I would say in your niche, you want to, like we talked about before, identify pressing problems. So in that hour, you may be reading a few top blogs in your niche, a couple posts, just set aside a few minutes. And then when you've identified some problems, you can brainstorm a couple blog post titles, and then you could start writing content. Now, based on the word length, you probably want to aim for 600 to 1,000 words, maybe a little bit more if you're really feeling it intuitively. Definitely don't want to, I wouldn't say publish a blog post a day, because that's too ambitious for most newbie bloggers. It's just too much. It's possible, but there's too much overload. There's too much fear and resistance, mental blocks, all that other jazz. But at least start writing the post. You could do that piecemeal, a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, and then do some networking. That's really it. But as far as the hour, how you want to split it up, I mean, ballpark, probably 15, 20 minutes writing, and then give the 40 to networking.
20 minutes writing, 40 minutes networking. And here's why. I
realized the value in publishing one post that was helpful and then making a ton of friends through blog commenting. And then when I published that post, instead of me trying to put the next 10 posts out, or the next 2 even, the friends would come and they'd promote it and boost my traffic and endorse me. And it's just, what is it? Robert Kiyosaki, the wealthiest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work.
So there you have it. That's the daily routine. Now, if you want to be absolutely sure that you're implementing it correctly, then you should check this out.
So that's on my blog. It's the 11 Fundamentals of Successful Blogging. I break down 11 simple steps into practical tips. That's what I do. I make it as practical as possible. So this is an audio course, so you could listen. And I do have like a PDF that breaks down each step. Listen, take notes, learn, and take those practical tips and put them into action right away, just to keep them on the straight and narrow so they can enjoy the freedom and success that we all deserve.
And personally, I have also read these 2 books by Ryan. They are absolutely amazing, and I link to them under the video as well. One last thing. If you've watched until now and you love the idea of being a blogger, then reach out to Ryan. Send him a message, tell him you've seen this interview, and say hi.
The best place to reach me is Twitter and Facebook. Look me up there, send me a tweet, or even dropping a comment. Drop a comment on my blog. And it could even be off topic, and if I see it, I'll answer it.
So what do you think? Are you going to start a blog? Let me know in the comments below this video. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about podcasting with Nick Nalbach. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Morris from Create, Grow, Profit, and I will see you in the next video.